Welcome to the Healthcare Provider Happy Hour. This is a safe space where we invite healthcare providers to unapologetically be themselves after the working day. My name is Jennifer George, and each week I will connect you with guests and stories that will help transform your stress to success and fulfillment. Are you with me? Grab your drink of choice and let's chat. Hey everyone, welcome to the Healthcare Provider Happy Hour. I'm your host, Jennifer George, and I'm joining you this evening with a glass of water. I want to chat with you a little bit today for those of you who are feeling frustrated, for those of you who are feeling unheard, for those of you who are feeling powerless. I'll tell you something, one of the worst emotions that we can feel, or one of the most painful ones, is feeling powerless. And one of the biggest causes of burnout we know is systemic in nature. So when you work in healthcare and there are systemic processes that are just not changing and they're not changing fast enough, it makes you feel like you're not being heard. It makes you feel like nothing's changing, that things aren't getting better. And I've always said for many years that changes in healthcare happen very slowly, particularly in the public sector here in Ontario. And it doesn't mean that people aren't hearing you. It just means that changes just don't happen right away. And the best thing you can do is continue to bring things forward in, a peaceful manner and in a civilized one. But sometimes you get super frustrated that you are at the point, when you're at the point of burning out, you are considering either going off on a sick leave or you are considering changing professions altogether. You are just feeling completely lost and frustrated and overwhelmed, and you're looking for something to change. And sometimes it's more like, if they're not going to change, then I'm just going to leave this. And for some people, that's not a bad decision. For some people, that works out for them, and that's great. For others, it's not so easy for many reasons. And some of that is, just having to take care of others in their family. It's not easy to find a job sometimes, in healthcare, as much as we are in demand, working full-time hours and having a secure position is not that convenient. It does take time. And so when you're in this position and you're feeling unheard and you're feeling frustrated and you feel like you're just ready to quit everything and maybe just get out of the profession altogether, I want you to think about something. I know for me, almost 13 years ago now, when I started practicing, I don't know for you, but like with my schooling, I almost felt like, I'm a physiotherapist, and I almost felt like our schooling was kind of directed more into one aspect of physio more than the others. I felt like I got more training in one than the others. And because I got more training in that particular area, that's the area I got into for practice, thinking that it's where I was most comfortable, it's what made sense. And after a couple of years, I realized it really wasn't my passion. But I didn't really know what my passion was. And eventually the environment that I was in got toxic, not just because of where I was at, but just even systemically. And so the combination of the two just made me grow frustrated, made me question myself and my position in this profession altogether. And, I was very narrow-minded and I was very narrow-visioned in seeing the bigger picture. Like, as a physio in Ontario, we have so many options and we're so lucky. We're one of the few professions that can work virtually in either private or public sector and in many different areas of both. So, we're super lucky, and I've always been grateful, and I've always said that. But it's still a frustrating and scary process to go through, because you start to internalize things and you start to feel like it's you. when it's really not. Sometimes it is just the system. So eventually what happened was, I was at the point where I was just ready to leave everything. And then I realized, well, I had a choice here. At the end of the day, I have a choice. I always have a choice. And that's what I want you to understand, is that you always have a choice. I could up and leave the profession, and then what would I do? And that brought more overwhelm to me. Or I could think about what it is that I really wanted. And so what I had to do was I had to look at my own core values. So rather resistance, which was the environment I was in, I started to accept their values for what they were, for what I could see, and reassess my own and realize that the two were very different. I was working in the private sector at the time, and that's part of the reason why I got into the public sector, because of that aspect of private funding, the aspect of limited time spent with patients, things like that. And, it just depends on what it is for you, but there's certain core values that we all have, but I don't believe we are, we're not provoked to think about them much until we are already in an environment that we're not happy in. So what I would recommend is, if you're job searching right now or you're fresh out of school, definitely check out the core values of any organization that you're considering applying to, okay? And see if they align with yours, and look at your own core values, like what matters most to you as a clinician in order to provide high quality care. Is it integrity? Is it connection? What is it for you? And that is going to give you an idea of an environment that suits you, okay? And I want you to realize too that when I came to this point, back then I realized there was nothing wrong with me. And I'm not saying there was anything wrong with them, but what I am saying is I just outgrew that. I outgrew that space. I outgrew those values. I outgrew that model of care. Like, I just outgrew it all. And that's a good thing. Growth is a good thing. I'm a big believer in, pivoting and shifting and growing wherever you can. Okay. I don't think that we're designed to do the same thing for 35 years anymore, like we were back in the day, or like generations were before us. I think times are different. And as we evolve as human beings, we are craving more growth in whatever way that looks for us.